Welcome to my channel World of Coins, the place where history meets treasure. Here, every coin tells a story, from the oldest United States classics that shaped our past to the newest rare discoveries that amaze collectors today. If you love the thrill of uncovering hidden value, exploring the beauty of design, and learning the secrets behind coins worth fortunes, then you're in the right place. Join us as we dive deep into the world of rare U.S. coins, both old and new, and reveal the fascinating details that make them priceless. Top 1. The year 1971 marked an era of transformation for the United States, and among the many symbols of this period of change was the Lincoln 1-cent penny. Though at first glance, it appeared as just another coin in circulation, collectors and numismatists would come to discover that some 1971 Lincoln pennies carried hidden treasures of immense value. This small copper coin, with Abraham Lincoln's iconic portrait, represents not only American history but also the surprises the minting process sometimes brings to life. When the 1971 Lincoln cent was released, it carried on a proud tradition that had begun in 1909. The obverse side still featured Victor David Brenner's portrait of Abraham Lincoln, a design so beloved that it has endured for more than a century. On this coin, Lincoln faces to the right, his expression solemn and wise, symbolizing both freedom and unity. Above his head, the words, "In God We Trust," are boldly inscribed, while the word, "Liberty," stands to the left, and the year, 1971, sits just in front of his chest. The reverse side remained classic, the Lincoln Memorial, designed by Frank Gasparo. Though it might look ordinary, the reverse holds a fascinating detail. If you look closely under magnification, you can actually see a tiny image of the statue of Lincoln seated inside the memorial, a subtle tribute to the man himself. Surrounding it are the inscriptions, "United States of America," and "E Pluribus Unum," followed by the denomination, 1 cent, boldly placed at the bottom. The 1971 Lincoln penny was struck at 3 different mints, Philadelphia, Denver, and San Francisco. The Philadelphia mint coins have no mint mark, while the Denver ones display a D, and the San Francisco proofs carry the elegant S. But not all 1971 pennies are created equal. Within these mints, small variations and striking errors have made certain examples exceptionally valuable. One of the most famous varieties of the 1971 penny is the 1971 double die obverse. This is where things get interesting. During the minting process, the die, the metal stamp that impresses the design onto the coin, was accidentally engraved twice at slightly different angles. As a result, you can see a clear doubling on the words, "Liberty" and "In God We Trust," and sometimes even on the date itself. These doubling effects are easily noticeable under magnification and make the coin one of the most sought-after modern Lincoln cents. Collectors adore the 1971 double die obverse penny not only for its rarity but also for its sharpness and clarity. Unlike many double dies where the doubling is faint, this particular variety showcases bold, readable doubling, giving it that instant, wow factor when examined. Finding one in circulation would feel like discovering hidden treasure in your pocket change. The San Francisco Mint also produced some intriguing 1971 S-proof coins. These coins were made specifically for collectors and have mirror-like fields with frosted details. But even among these proofs, there are unique varieties such as the 1971 S double die proof, which shows strong doubling on the inscriptions. These proofs are scarce, and in pristine condition, they can command prices that astonish even seasoned coin enthusiasts. While the vast majority of 1971 pennies remain ordinary and worth only face value, certain ones in high mint state grades or with special die varieties tell a different story. The key to determining whether your 1971 penny could be valuable lies in examining it carefully under magnification and noting any doubling, unusual coloration, or striking errors. Another interesting aspect about the 1971 Lincoln cent is its composition. This coin was made of 95% copper and 5% zinc, a composition that would soon change in the 1980s when copper became too costly for the mint to use extensively. This copper-rich material gives the older pennies their distinctive reddish tone, and it also adds intrinsic value due to the rising price of copper. Collectors also look for coins with strong luster and clean surfaces. A 1971 penny graded MS-67 or higher can already fetch hundreds or even thousands of dollars. But when it comes to those rare double die examples or special proof issues, the price jumps dramatically. That's why professional grading from organizations like PCGS or NGC is often recommended to authenticate and determine the true worth of the coin. Sometimes, what makes a coin extraordinary isn't just its era or mint mark, but the story it tells about its time. The early 1970s were marked by political and social change in America, and the Lincoln cent remained a reminder of stability and history amid those changes. It was a daily object that connected Americans to their past, to Lincoln's enduring legacy of unity and freedom. Even today, coin collectors cherish the 1971 penny because it stands as a bridge between the classic mid-century cents and the later modern versions. It's old enough to evoke nostalgia, yet new enough to still be found in the hands of the lucky. It's worth noting that the minting process in 1971 wasn't as refined as it is today. The technology used to create dies was still prone to human error, which explains why doubling and other striking anomalies occurred more often. This makes each error coin a little piece of minting history, an artifact of imperfection turned into beauty. Over the decades, these coins have become symbols of discovery for new collectors. Many people's journey into numismatics began with finding a 1971 penny that looked slightly off. They examined it closer, learned about double dies, and fell in love with the mystery of coins. That if you hold a 1971 penny in your hand, look at it closely. Notice the gleam of copper, the delicate details of Lincoln's face, and the precise engraving of the Lincoln Memorial. Each line and letter was crafted by skilled engravers and struck with immense precision, and in rare cases, with unique flaws that made history. Coins like the 1971 Lincoln penny teach us patience and attention to detail. The most valuable ones often go unnoticed by those who rush. It's the careful eye that finds the treasure hidden in plain sight. Collectors today still search rolls of pennies hoping to uncover that elusive double die or pristine mint state gem. And though most searches end with ordinary cents, every now and then, someone discovers a coin worth thousands. That moment of discovery is pure magic, the feeling that you've touched history and found something rare. The passion for the Lincoln cent remains strong because it carries emotional as well as monetary value. It's a coin that tells America's story, from the era of Lincoln to the dawn of modern minting. When coin experts talk about the 1971 penny, they often describe it as a hidden gem of the Lincoln series. It might not have the fame of the 1909 VDB or the 1955 double die, but it holds its own as one of the most fascinating cents of the 1970s. With each passing year, high-quality examples become rarer. Time and circulation have worn down most of the coins, leaving only a handful of pristine survivors. And as collectors realize how few truly flawless pieces remain, demand continues to grow. In auctions, when a high-grade 1971 double die obverse or proof variant appears, the excitement is palpable. Bidders know they're competing for a piece of American minting legend. Some have sold for life-changing sums, sparking renewed interest in this humble penny. Even the simple act of flipping a 1971 penny over to see the Lincoln Memorial can feel like a glimpse back into another era. It reminds us of a time when coins were crafted with care, and each small detail mattered. For young collectors, the 1971 Lincoln cent is often one of the first lessons in how history and craftsmanship merge into something timeless. For seasoned numismatists, it remains a cornerstone of the modern Lincoln series, proof that even in a common coin, greatness can be hidden. So, if you ever come across a 1971 Lincoln 1-cent penny, don't dismiss it too quickly. Take a moment to study it carefully, because you might just be holding a piece of rare numismatic art. A coin that has survived decades, carrying stories and secrets in its copper shine, and if fate truly smiles upon you, your 1971 Lincoln penny could be worth an astonishing $127,000. Top 2. The year 1978 was one of reflection and progress for the United States. The country was evolving, technology was advancing, and yet the humble Lincoln 1-cent penny continued to symbolize a connection to the nation's past. This small copper coin, minted in 1978, carried with it over 6 decades of legacy, a legacy that began in 1909 when Abraham Lincoln first appeared on the U.S. cent. But while millions of these coins rolled off the presses, only a few special 1978 Lincoln pennies would later become incredibly valuable, transforming from pocket change into treasures worth thousands. The design of the 1978 Lincoln cent remained consistent with the familiar image Americans had grown to love. On the obverse side, the strong yet compassionate face of Abraham Lincoln looks to the right, a creation of the talented sculptor Victor David Brenner. Above his head are the powerful words, "In God we trust," a motto that embodies the faith and resilience of the American spirit. To Lincoln's left sits the word "Liberty," and just before his chest, the date, 1978, is carefully stamped, identifying its year of birth. Turning the coin over reveals the Lincoln Memorial, designed by Frank Gasparo. This monument, a symbol of unity and remembrance, honors the 16th president's lasting influence on American freedom. Under close inspection, you can even spot a tiny seated figure of Lincoln inside the memorial, a subtle artistic detail that fascinates collectors and historians alike. Above it arcs the inscription, "United States of America," with "E pluribus unum" standing proudly beneath, and the denomination, 1 cent, resting at the bottom in bold letters. The 1978 Lincoln cent was produced at 3 major U.S. mints, Philadelphia, Denver, and San Francisco. The Philadelphia coins have no mint mark, the Denver coins bear a small D, and the San Francisco issues feature an elegant S reserved for proof coins. These mints collectively struck hundreds of millions of pennies that year, yet only a select few have managed to stand out due to exceptional condition, unique minting errors, or rare varieties. One reason the 1978 penny continues to attract collectors is its place in history. It was one of the final full years of the traditional copper composition before the U.S. Mint made a major change in 1982. Each 1978 cent was made of 95% copper and 5% zinc, a combination that gave it a rich, warm color and a slightly heavier feel than the later zinc-based versions. That copper content alone makes these coins more desirable, especially as copper prices rise, but what truly excites coin enthusiasts are the rare error coins. During the minting process, machines can misalign, dies can crack, and strikes can double, creating extraordinary varieties that collectors go crazy for. The 1978 Lincoln cent is known to have a few of these rare errors, including off-center strikes, die cracks across Lincoln's face, and even double die obverse examples where the lettering and numbers appear faintly doubled. When a 1978 penny shows strong doubling on the words, "In God We Trust," or the date, it's immediately set apart from the ordinary coins. These double die varieties are not only visually fascinating but also incredibly valuable. The rarity of finding one in perfect condition, free from scratches and blemishes, is what sends their value skyrocketing. Another fascinating version comes from the San Francisco Mint. The 1978 S-proof coins were not intended for general circulation but rather made for collectors. They boast mirror-like backgrounds and frosted images, a result of special minting techniques. A perfect 1978 S-proof penny with deep cameo contrast can be breathtaking to behold. And when such a coin carries even the slightest minting flaw, its uniqueness becomes even more desirable. Collectors love to grade coins using a system from 1 to 70, with 70 representing perfection, no marks, no discoloration, no signs of wear. When a 1978 penny reaches grades like MS-67 or MS-68, it becomes an extraordinary find. The sharpness of detail, luster, and overall presentation can elevate an ordinary cent into a prized possession worth thousands. What makes the 1978 penny even more intriguing is its journey through time. Imagine how many of these coins passed through countless hands, buying candy, newspapers, or stamps, never knowing that some among them held hidden fortunes. Each penny carries with it a story, a glimpse into everyday American life from decades ago. As years go by, uncirculated examples become rarer and harder to find. The copper tone, if preserved properly, develops a beautiful natural patina that enhances its charm. Many collectors store these coins in protective holders to shield them from oxidation and maintain their original mint luster. When examining a 1978 penny, the first step is to check its condition. Look for sharp lines on Lincoln's hair and beard, a crisp strike on the memorial's columns, and bright reflective surfaces. These are the signs of a high-grade coin that can demand significant attention from buyers and auctioneers alike. The second step is to look closely for any abnormalities. Even a slight doubling or a visible die break can transform the coin's fate. Some 1978 pennies have been known to show tiny die cracks that resemble scars on Lincoln's face, errors that increase their collectible appeal. The world of coin collecting thrives on stories like these, stories where small imperfections lead to perfection in value. The 1978 Lincoln cent is a shining example of that mystery. It's a reminder that hidden treasures often come disguised as ordinary objects in our everyday lives. In coin shows and online auctions, the 1978 penny continues to capture attention. Seasoned collectors and newcomers alike are drawn to its balance of history, artistry, and potential value. Those who own a rare variety or a flawless proof often hold on to it as both an investment and a piece of American heritage. Some of the most astonishing auction results have come from seemingly insignificant coins. When a 1978 Lincoln penny with the right combination of rarity and condition appears, bidders compete fiercely, knowing that opportunities like this come only once in a generation. The beauty of the Lincoln cent is that it unites collectors across generations. A child starting a coin collection today could stumble upon a 1978 penny and unknowingly begin a lifelong fascination with numismatics. That's the power of this small copper circle. It connects history, art, and discovery in the palm of your hand. Even though the 1978 penny may appear common, its story is anything but. It represents a final chapter in the traditional copper coinage era, a bridge between the classic and the modern. Each one minted that year carries a sense of heritage and nostalgia that continues to captivate collectors around the world. The elegance of the Lincoln design, unchanged for so many decades, is a testament to the craftsmanship of its creators. It's a work of miniature art that honors a man whose vision reshaped a nation. Owning a 1978 penny in pristine condition feels like owning a small piece of that enduring legacy. Over time, as millions of these pennies disappear into private collections or succumb to wear, the survivors grow more valuable. Those preserved in uncirculated rolls or certified by top grading agencies now fetch impressive sums, especially when accompanied by documented errors. The thrill of discovering one of these rare coins, maybe in an old jar, a forgotten box, or even in change, is unlike anything else. It's a reminder that history can still be found in the smallest and simplest things. Collectors often say that every coin tells a story, and the 1978 Lincoln 1-cent penny tells one of transformation, endurance, and unexpected worth. It's a coin that whispers of the past while shining brightly in the present. So, if you ever come across a 1978 Lincoln penny, take a moment to study it closely. Look for the mint mark, the clarity of the strike, and any small errors that make it stand out. Because hidden in that tiny piece of copper might be a treasure that could change your life, and if fortune truly favors you, your 1978 Lincoln 1-cent penny could be worth an incredible $108,000. Top 3. The year 1981 was one of change and anticipation for the United States Mint. It marked the end of an era for a coin that had symbolized American pride for generations, the Lincoln 1-cent penny made of copper. Though millions of these coins were struck, only a handful of 1981 Lincoln pennies have become incredibly valuable, turning from ordinary pocket change into rare treasures worth thousands of dollars. What might look like a simple penny could, in fact, hold a hidden fortune waiting to be discovered. The 1981 Lincoln cent continued the classic design that Americans had come to know and love since 1909. The obverse proudly displays the bust of Abraham Lincoln, designed by Victor David Brenner, whose initials, VDB, can still be seen under Lincoln's shoulder if you look closely. His profile faces right, carrying a dignified expression that symbolizes strength and unity. Above his head, the familiar words, "In God We Trust," stretch across the rim, while the word, "Liberty," sits to his left, and the year, 1981, appears clearly in front of him. Flipping the coin over reveals the iconic Lincoln Memorial, designed by Frank Gasparo. The memorial's detailed columns and steps are a miniature masterpiece, and at its center sits a tiny representation of the Lincoln statue, a hidden detail that connects the obverse and reverse designs in a poetic way. Surrounding the memorial are the inscriptions, "United States of America," and "E Pluribus Unum," while 1 cent shines proudly at the bottom. The 1981 penny was produced at 3 major mints, Philadelphia, Denver, and San Francisco. The Philadelphia coins carry no mint mark, the Denver coins bear a small D beneath the date, and the San Francisco coins display a delicate S. Together, they minted over 12 billion pennies that year, but among those billions are rare varieties, unique minting errors, and perfectly preserved coins that make collectors' hearts race. what makes the 1981 penny especially significant is that it was one of the last years the U.S. Mint produced pennies with the traditional copper composition of 95% copper and 5% zinc. Just 1 year later, in 1982, the Mint transitioned to a cheaper copper-plated zinc composition due to rising copper costs. This makes the 1981 Lincoln Cent the final full-year run of true copper pennies, a final chapter in a long and beloved era. Because of this transition, collectors pay close attention to 1981 coins. They represent the end of the classic copper age, and well-preserved examples are highly sought after. The copper composition gives these coins a distinct reddish tone and heavier feel compared to modern zinc cents, and their durability has helped them survive the test of time in better condition. One of the fascinating aspects of the 1981 Lincoln penny is the number of varieties that exist. There are small differences in the lettering, spacing, and strike sharpness between the different mints. Some coins from the San Francisco Mint, in particular, show variations known as Type 1 and Type 2 proofs, each with distinct mint mark styles. Type 1 features a filled S, while Type 2 shows a clearer, more elegant S shape. The Type 2 proof is rarer and more desirable among collectors. Errors are another reason why the 1981 penny can be worth far more than its face value. Minting mistakes such as double die obverse, off-center strikes, and die cracks can drastically increase a coin's worth. A 1981 penny showing strong doubling on the words, "In God We Trust," or "Liberty," can fetch astonishing prices at auctions. Collectors also look for coins in pristine, uncirculated condition. A 1981 penny graded MS67 or higher by professional grading services like PCGS or NGC can be worth a fortune. The brighter the luster, the sharper the details, and the fewer the contact marks, the more valuable the coin becomes. When you hold a 1981 Lincoln penny in your hand, you're holding more than just a coin, you're holding a piece of American history. Each one tells a story of craftsmanship and transition. It was struck in a time when the nation was preparing for change, yet still holding on to tradition. The artistry of the Lincoln design continues to captivate collectors even after so many decades. Brenner's portrait, with its lifelike features and sense of dignity, makes the 1981 penny not just a monetary tool but a miniature sculpture honoring one of America's greatest leaders. Many people have found rare 1981 pennies in the most unexpected places, old coin jars, family collections, or even among loose change. That's part of the magic of coin collecting, the possibility that a seemingly ordinary coin could turn out to be something extraordinary. For the 1981 penny, condition is everything. A coin that has circulated heavily may only be worth a cent or two, but an untouched, bright red gem can command prices that would shock most people. The difference between a 1-cent coin and a $10,000 coin often lies in the smallest details, a sharp strike, a rare error, or simply perfect preservation. Another reason the 1981 Lincoln penny remains popular is its symbolism. It was created at a time when America was on the brink of modernization, yet the coin's design remained rooted in history. That contrast gives it a timeless appeal. In proof sets, the 1981 S coins stand out as works of art. Their mirror-like surfaces and frosted designs shimmer with beauty. These proof coins were never meant for circulation, and those that remain sealed in their original sets have become increasingly valuable over time. Collectors love to compare the various mint marks and finishes, studying every small variation. Even slight differences in the way the metal was polished or the dies were engraved can make one coin stand out among thousands. As time passes, high-grade examples become harder to find. Most 1981 pennies have been handled, scratched, or discolored by age, but those kept in pristine condition continue to appreciate in value. Serious collectors know that patience pays off when it comes to these coins. It's also worth mentioning that copper pennies like the 1981 edition have intrinsic metal value that often exceeds their face value. While it's illegal to melt U.S. coins for profit, this factor still adds an extra layer of interest for investors and collectors alike. When looking for valuable 1981 pennies, start with details. Examine the date, the mint mark, and the inscriptions. Use a magnifying glass to check for doubling or any unusual texture. Coins with crisp details and rich color are always the most desirable. The Lincoln Memorial Reverse, which was replaced by the Shield design in 2010, makes the 1981 penny part of a now historic design series. It's a symbol of America's architectural and cultural pride, a miniature monument carried in the pockets of millions. Finding a flawless 1981 Lincoln penny is like uncovering a time capsule from a different era. It represents the end of copper coinage, the beginning of modern minting technology, and the continued reverence for Abraham Lincoln's legacy. At coin conventions and auctions, 1981 cents in top condition often draw attention from serious bidders. It's not uncommon to see collectors competing passionately for a perfectly struck or rare proof example, pushing prices higher with each bid. Even novice collectors are drawn to this coin because it's both accessible and potentially valuable. It's a reminder that anyone can start their numismatic journey with something as simple as a penny. The 1981 Lincoln cent stands as proof that beauty and value can exist in the smallest forms. It's more than metal, it's memory, craftsmanship, and a symbol of America's enduring spirit. So the next time you come across a 1981 Lincoln 1-cent penny, don't overlook it. Take a closer look at its details, its shine, and its story. That tiny copper coin might hold a piece of history, and a fortune waiting to be discovered, and if you're among the lucky few to find the rarest and most pristine variety, your 1981 Lincoln 1-cent penny could be worth an astonishing $97,000. Top 4. The year 1982 was a monumental one for the United States Mint, a year that marked a major turning point in the history of the Lincoln 1-cent penny. What seemed like a simple, everyday coin would become one of the most fascinating and talked about coins in American numismatic history. The 1982 Lincoln penny stands out as the year when the mint made a dramatic change in the coin's composition, a shift that would forever separate the old from the new. And hidden among the millions of 1982 pennies are rare varieties worth staggering amounts, with some examples selling for life-changing sums. The 1982 Lincoln 1-cent coin features the same familiar design that Americans have carried in their pockets for decades. On the obverse side, we see the timeless portrait of Abraham Lincoln, sculpted by Victor David Brenner, who first introduced his design in 1909. Lincoln's calm and wise profile faces right, symbolizing strength, freedom, and leadership. Above his head, the proud words, "In God We Trust," stand boldly, while the word "Liberty" sits on the left side. The year 1982 appears just to the right, representing one of the most historic minting years in modern coinage. The reverse side remains a tribute to America's national pride, the Lincoln Memorial, designed by Frank Gasparo. Every column, step, and line of the memorial was struck with precision, and if you look closely, you can even spot the tiny statue of Lincoln seated inside. Surrounding the image are the words, "United States of America," and "E Pluribus Unum," with 1 cent boldly inscribed at the bottom. Though the design seems familiar, what lies beneath the surface of the 1982 penny is what makes it truly remarkable. Before 1982, the Lincoln cent had been made of 95% copper and 5% zinc, a solid, weighty composition that gave it its distinct reddish hue. But as copper prices soared, the U.S. Mint realized that it was costing more than 1 cent just to make a 1-cent coin. The solution was to change the material entirely. In 1982, the Mint introduced a brand new composition, a core of 99.2% zinc coated with a thin layer of copper. These new zinc pennies were much lighter and cheaper to produce, but they looked nearly identical to their copper predecessors. This historic transition created not just one, but several varieties of the 1982 Lincoln penny, making it one of the most complex years for collectors. That year, both copper and zinc versions were minted, and to make things even more interesting, 2 different font styles were used for the date, a large date and a small date. That means there are multiple distinct versions of the 1982 penny: copper large date, copper small date, zinc large date, and zinc small date, all of which were struck in both Philadelphia and Denver. With so many varieties, the 1982 penny became a numismatic puzzle. Collectors began weighing their coins, measuring them, and inspecting the date styles under magnification. The copper pennies weigh about 3.11 grams, while the newer zinc ones weigh only 2.5 grams. That small difference can be the key to unlocking a coin's identity, and potentially, its immense value. Among all 1982 pennies, one particular variety has become legendary: the 1982 D small date copper penny. This rare coin shouldn't even exist, since the Denver Mint was supposed to have switched entirely to zinc by the time the small date dies were used. Yet a handful of these rare copper Denver minted coins were somehow struck, creating one of the most valuable Lincoln cents ever discovered. The 1982 D small date copper penny is considered the holy grail for modern penny collectors. Experts estimate that only a few of these coins exist, and they were discovered purely by chance. When collectors realized that some Denver coins still contained copper, it caused a sensation across the coin-collecting world. Another intriguing aspect of the 1982 penny is how subtle the differences between the small and large dates can be. The small date version has thinner numbers, with the top of the 8 sitting level with the 1 and 2. The large date version, by contrast, has bolder numbers, with the top of the 8 slightly higher. These details, almost invisible to the casual eye, make all the difference when it comes to value. As collectors began sorting and weighing thousands of 1982 pennies, stories of amazing discoveries began to emerge. People who had saved jars of old coins found themselves sitting on small fortunes. The thrill of finding one of these rare varieties reignited interest in Lincoln cents, inspiring a new generation of coin enthusiasts. The 1982 penny's allure lies not just in its rarity but also in its symbolism. It represents change, a turning point in American coinage where the mint moved from traditional craftsmanship to modern efficiency. Yet despite that change, the spirit of the Lincoln design remained untouched, a testament to the enduring legacy of Brenner's masterpiece. Each 1982 penny carries with it a hidden mystery. Is it copper or zinc? Large date or small date? Every coin holds the possibility of being something extraordinary, and that mystery keeps collectors endlessly fascinated. In pristine condition, the 1982 copper pennies with sharp strikes and brilliant luster are already worth far more than face value. But when it comes to rare transitional errors like the 1982 D small date copper cent, the value skyrockets beyond imagination. The U.S. Mint struck billions of pennies that year, but the fact that a handful of these were made in the wrong metal makes them numismatic legends. It's a reminder that even in the most controlled minting environments, mistakes can lead to masterpieces. For those who want to identify their 1982 pennies, a simple test can help. Place the coin on a scale. If it weighs around 3.11 grams, it's a copper version. If it weighs 2.5 grams, it's zinc. This small act of curiosity could reveal that the penny you've held onto for years is worth a fortune, even beyond the rare varieties. 1982 pennies graded MS67 or higher can command impressive prices at auction. Coins with flawless surfaces, full red luster, and no contact marks are especially prized. Proof coins from the San Francisco Mint, with their mirror-like fields and frosted designs, are miniature works of art. Over the decades, the 1982 Lincoln penny has become a collector's favorite, both for its historical significance and for the excitement of the hunt. It's one of those coins that bridges two eras, the last breath of the copper age and the birth of the modern zinc penny. Many collectors today still search through rolls of pennies, hoping to find that elusive treasure. The dream of discovering a 1982 D small date copper penny keeps the thrill alive, proving that even the smallest coins can hold the greatest stories. The transition year of 1982 teaches us an important lesson. Sometimes, value hides in the most ordinary things. What was once just spare change in a drawer might one day turn out to be a rare piece of American history. For seasoned numismatists, the 1982 Lincoln penny represents the beauty of imperfection, the rare mistakes that make collecting so rewarding. For beginners, it's the perfect coin to start with, combining accessibility with the possibility of great reward. Over time, the number of high-quality 1982 copper coins has declined. Many have been lost, melted, or damaged. That's why the few surviving gems continue to increase in value, drawing attention from serious collectors and investors alike. Even today, when you hold a 1982 penny in your hand, you're holding a piece of transformation. It's a coin that embodies the balance between history and progress, between old metal and new material, between the past and the future. The beauty of the Lincoln design endures, a constant reminder of America's values and resilience. From 1909 through 1982 and beyond, Lincoln's portrait has remained steadfast, watching over each new generation. So, the next time you find a 1982 penny in your collection, don't overlook it. Weigh it, study it, and appreciate the craftsmanship behind it. That little coin might just be one of the rarest treasures of modern coinage, and if you are lucky enough to uncover one of those rare and extraordinary examples, your 1982 Lincoln 1-cent penny could be worth an incredible $93,000. Top 5. The year 1991 may not seem like a distant past, but in the world of coin collecting, it represents an era of fascinating minting precision and rare surprises. Among the coins that circulated that year, the United States of America Lincoln 1-cent penny from 1991 stands out as a small yet significant piece of numismatic history. It's a coin that millions used every day without a second thought, yet hidden within its mintage are rare varieties that have stunned collectors and brought incredible prices at auctions. The 1991 Lincoln penny continues the legacy of a design that has endured for over a century. On the obverse, we see the unmistakable portrait of Abraham Lincoln, designed by Victor David Brenner in 1909. His calm and determined expression symbolizes leadership, equality, and freedom. Above his head is the nation's enduring motto, "In God We Trust." To the left, the word "Liberty" stands proudly, while to the right, the date, 1991, glows as a mark of time. It's a design so iconic that it has remained nearly unchanged for generations. Turning the coin over, we are greeted by Frank Gasparo's depiction of the Lincoln Memorial, a tribute to one of America's most revered presidents. Every detail of this miniature masterpiece, from the columns to the steps, reflects the grandeur of the actual monument in Washington, D.C. At the very center, if you look closely, you can even see the tiny statue of Lincoln seated inside the memorial, a remarkable detail that continues to fascinate collectors. Above the memorial is the inscription, "United States of America," while below it rests the phrase, "E pluribus unum," meaning, out of many, one. The denomination, 1 cent, is boldly inscribed at the bottom, reminding us of the coin's simple purpose, yet this humble penny has proven itself to be anything but ordinary. The 1991 Lincoln penny was struck at 3 U.S. mint facilities, Philadelphia, Denver, and San Francisco. Coins from Philadelphia have no mint mark, those from Denver carry a small D, and San Francisco produced proof coins with the elegant S mint mark. Together, these mints created billions of pennies that year, but only a handful have emerged as rare and valuable treasures. By 1991, the penny was being struck in its modern composition of 97.5% zinc and a thin copper plating of 2.5%. This change, which began in 1982, made the coin lighter and less expensive to produce, but it also introduced new challenges, including more frequent minting errors. That's why some of the rarest and most sought-after 1991 Lincoln cents owe their incredible value to striking mistakes that turned them into true collector's prizes. One of the most remarkable varieties discovered from 1991 is the double die obverse. In this rare error, the design was accidentally struck twice at slightly different angles, creating noticeable doubling on the inscriptions. When you see a 1991 penny with doubled letters on, "In God We Trust," "Liberty," or the date, you might be holding a piece worth far more than face value. Collectors have also identified off-center strikes among 1991 pennies, where the coin was not properly aligned with the dies during minting. These coins often have part of the design missing or shifted dramatically to one side, creating an eye-catching and rare visual effect. The more dramatic the off-center strike, the more valuable the coin becomes. Another highly desirable feature for collectors is a broad strike error, where the coin was struck without the collar that normally holds it in place, causing it to expand beyond its normal size. This makes the penny appear wider and slightly flatter, a clear sign of minting irregularity. Proof coins from the San Francisco Mint are another story altogether. These coins, made specifically for collectors, have mirror-like fields and frosted designs. The 1991 proof pennies were carefully struck multiple times to achieve perfect detail, but even among proofs, there are rare cases of striking flaws, such as double dies or cameo contrasts that make them unique and valuable. The beauty of the 1991 penny lies not only in its physical design but in its connection to America's numismatic journey. It represents a continuation of a story that began in 1909 with the introduction of the Lincoln cent, a coin that honored the man who preserved the Union. By 1991, the coin had already seen more than 80 years of circulation, yet it remained as beloved and iconic as ever. For collectors, the key to finding a valuable 1991 penny lies in careful examination. Using a magnifying glass, every detail should be inspected, from the lettering to the date, the mint mark, and even the edges. Small errors that the average person might overlook can make a world of difference in determining the coin's value. Another factor that adds to a 1991 penny's worth is its condition. Coins are graded on a scale from 1 to 70, with 70 representing a flawless example. A 1991 Lincoln penny in mint state, especially those with the sharp, red, copper luster and no visible marks, can command significant premiums among collectors. Sometimes, a 1991 penny found in a jar, drawer, or old collection turns out to be a hidden gem. People have unknowingly held on to rare coins for years, not realizing their value until an expert examines them. That's what makes coin collecting so exciting, the thrill of discovering something extraordinary in something so ordinary. The Lincoln cent from 1991 also marks a period where the U.S. Mint began refining its production quality, yet human and mechanical errors still slipped through. This makes each surviving error coin a frozen moment in minting history, capturing the precise second when perfection met imperfection. Over time, as billions of pennies are lost, damaged, or destroyed, pristine survivors from 1991 grow increasingly rare. Collectors seek out coins that have maintained their original luster, with full details on Lincoln's face, hair, and the steps of the memorial. Even a minor difference in strike sharpness or coloration can drastically affect a coin's grade and value. That's why professional grading services like PCGS or NGC are so important in authenticating these treasures. A graded coin carries not only a label of authenticity but also a mark of prestige in the collecting world. The market for Lincoln cents remains strong because these coins connect everyday people with history. They serve as reminders that even the smallest denominations can hold immense value, both monetarily and historically. When you look at a 1991 penny under proper lighting, the copper sheen glows beautifully, reflecting the care that went into its creation. The craftsmanship and artistry of the design remain as timeless as the ideals Lincoln himself stood for. For many collectors, assembling a full set of Lincoln cents, from 1909 to the modern era, is a lifelong passion. Each coin tells a story from a different moment in America's past, and the 1991 penny plays its part as a representative of a changing, modernizing mint. The fascinating part is that 1991 pennies still circulate today, and anyone could stumble upon a rare variety without even realizing it. It could be resting quietly in a piggy bank or hiding in a handful of change from the grocery store, waiting to be discovered by someone with a keen eye. Some of these rare coins have already made headlines, fetching astonishing sums at auctions and setting records for modern Lincoln cents. Each discovery renews the excitement and proves that treasures can still be found in the most unexpected places. The Lincoln penny continues to be a symbol of hope, humility, and perseverance, qualities that Abraham Lincoln himself embodied. The 1991 edition carries that same spirit forward, representing both continuity and change in American coinage. Even though billions were made, only a small fraction survived in perfect condition. That rarity, combined with the occasional minting anomaly, is what turns this everyday coin into something extraordinary. If you have a 1991 penny in your possession, take a moment to look closely. Study the details, the luster, and the craftsmanship. You might be surprised at what you find, and who knows, that tiny, copper-colored coin in your collection might just be worth more than you ever imagined. Because if you're lucky enough to own the rarest and finest example, your 1991 Lincoln 1-cent penny could be worth an incredible $67,000.